Um, hello again. This is question D or 2D on exercise 9E. I didn't write it all out. I just got to this stage where I've put the stuff into the formula. Sometimes it will just still stay hideous. It's not always stuff isn't always gonna cancel, and it's gonna end up with just like a nice, neat answer. So this one, really, you put stuff in the formula. It's a common factor of e to the x add 3 all squared. So then what would I times that by to get back to this? And it would be 3 cos x. And then again, e to the x add 3 all squared times what will get me back to this? And it would be 1 lot of e to the x add 3 and the minus sine x2. And then it's just about tidying up. So the only thing you can do really here is the double minus, the double negative. You'd be expected to sort things like that out. Part A is a bit trickier. In fact, it's much trickier. You've got sine squared x over ln x. Establish what u and v are. Differentiating u is quite difficult, but if you think of sine squared x as sine x all squared, then it follows the chain rule, so it would be 2 times the function inside and then drop the power by 1, and then times by the function inside differentiated, so it would be sine differentiated to cos. So it's 2 sine x to the 1, essentially, times the cos x, the derivative of sine x. If that is not something you can just do, you have to take it somewhere else and write it with the u substitution, doing the chain rule properly. Okay, so then we've got quite a nasty looking thing, especially with the fraction on the fraction, but because there's just a single term on the denominator, we can split the fraction up. So then I'm looking at this, take away this, and so, sorry about the mess there. Sine squared x over x over ln x all squared is going to simplify to this. If you think about the, in fact, if you think about the, I don't know where my pen is. If you think about how dividing fractions work, it might be useful. Bloody hell. If you think about it like that, then it would be, to simplify that, it would be sine squared x over x divided by ln x squared over 1. You could flip and times like you know how to do for fractions, so it becomes that thing on the right hand side. And then, yeah, it looks a lot neater. One ln x cancels here on the top and the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. That's a fairly tricky one. So even if the question doesn't specifically ask, you want to be practicing simplifying and reducing it to its nicest form, because in a particular question it might specify that you need to leave it in that form, or it might you might need to solve it equal to 0, for example, which would be much more difficult to do if you left it as a big mess like that. All right.